When the jungle entered the village, Basagoda was a quiet forest village surrounded by thick jungle. For generations, the people lived in peace with the wild. Tigers were known to exist in the forest, but they stayed away from humans. The jungle had rules were respected. One night, those rules were broken. A farmer named Shankar did not return home after working late in his fields. His family waited through the night, believing he had taken shelter somewhere. At sunrise, villagers began searching. They found him near the edge of the village. His body was twisted unnaturally. Deep claw marks covered his chest. His throat had been crushed with terrifying force. Blood had soaked into the dry soil, and drag marks led toward the jungle. This was not a normal animal attack. The killing had happened inside village land. Fear spread quickly. Tigers avoided human settlements, but this one had entered without hesitation. The elders whispered that something had gone wrong in the forest, something desperate, something dangerous. That evening, doors were locked earlier than usual. Fires burned brighter. Children were kept indoors. Every sound from the jungle felt closer, heavier. From the darkness beyond the trees, something was watching Basagoda, and it was hungry. The hunter of humans. After Shankar's death, the village of Basagoda fell into a state of panic. Within a week, 2 more villagers vanished. One was a shepherd returning from grazing his goats. The other, a young man carrying firewood back from the forest. Neither left a trace behind, except for faint drag marks leading into the dense trees. The villagers knew the forest had changed. It was no longer just a home for animals, it was a hunting ground. One evening, a group of men decided to patrol the jungle edge. They carried torches, axes, and rifles, hoping sheer numbers would protect them. The wind was unnaturally still. The usual night sounds, the rustling of leaves, the calls of birds, the chirping of insects were gone. Only their footsteps echoed. Then, suddenly, a guttural growl ripped through the darkness. From the shadows, a massive tiger emerged, its eyes glowing in the torchlight. Scarred fur, teeth jagged from age and previous fights, it moved with terrifying patience. It leapt at one of the men. His scream lasted only seconds before it was silenced. The beast dragged him into the jungle, leaving the others frozen in horror. The remaining villagers fired their rifles, but the tiger disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. They found the man's torn clothes the next morning, but his body was gone. By now, it was clear this was no ordinary tiger. It hunted humans exclusively, avoiding all livestock and wild prey. Night after night, the villagers waited, trembling behind locked doors, praying the creature would not come for them. But the tiger was patient, and patience in a predator like this meant one thing: it was planning its next kill. Night of terror. By now, Basagoda had stopped sleeping. Villagers stayed awake all night, fires burning, doors locked, sticks and axes in hand. The tiger's attacks had become bolder. It struck closer to the village every night, sometimes dragging victims from just outside their huts. One night, 5 men volunteered to guard the edge of the jungle. A massive shape appeared, a tiger, larger and scarred, its teeth jagged from old battles. Its eyes glowed like fire. Before anyone could react, it leapt at one of the men. The jaws clamped around his neck, snapping it instantly. His scream echoed only seconds before silence returned. The other 4 tried to shoot, but the tiger dodged with terrifying agility. It dragged the body into the darkness, leaving only blood-stained leaves behind. That night, no one slept. The village had learned a harsh truth. The man-eater hunted with intelligence, not hunger. The government finally sent a professional hunter. He examined the bodies and attack sites. His conclusion was grim. This tiger was old, its teeth damaged from past fights. It could no longer hunt wild prey effectively. Humans had become its easiest and most predictable target. The hunter set up a bait near the most dangerous zone. Silence fell over the forest. Hours passed. Then, a deep, low growl broke the stillness. Glowing eyes appeared. Scarred, powerful, and hungry, the tiger stepped into view. The hunter fired. The first bullet wounded it in the shoulder. The beast roared, a sound of fury and pain, and charged again. A second shot struck its chest. The tiger collapsed, shaking violently, before lying still. At last, the nightmare ended. Massive, scarred, and broken by years of hunting and pain, it was a sight both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Relief spread, but fear never fully left. Even years later, elders warned children not to wander after sunset, not because the tiger was alive, but because the forest remembered. The Basagoda Man-Eater became a story of terror, a reminder that when nature is pushed too far, it strikes back, and sometimes humans become the prey.